Duran, Nunn, Hearn, Sugar Ray Leonard.
And the line goes down.
Arguello, Pryor, Chavez, Marvelous, Marvin Hagler.
The kill now.
Holmes, Foreman, Frazier, Muhammad Ali.
Big rally by Ali.
Cooney, Norton, Spinks, Iron, Mike Tyson. See them all in the moments that'll remain etched forever in the minds of boxing fans. HBO Boxing's greatest hits. Coming up next on HBO.
HBO Sports presents World Championship Boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome.
Remember, protect yourself at all times. Understand that? Shake hands, now let's get it on.
Hello, I'm Jim Lampley. For the next 45 minutes, Sugar Ray Leonard, Larry Merchant, and I will take you back through 17 years of great boxing memories on HBO. No sport lends itself more readily to thoughtful analysis and reflection than boxing. Certainly no sport has a more personal or intimate impact on its competitors and on its fans. Larry Merchant has been analyzing boxing matches on HBO for more than 10 years. And Larry, some people say this sport is brutal and degrading. How would you explain its indelible hold on public imagination?
Well, it goes back thousands of years that we know of in an organized way, and probably beyond that. So it must hold people in some way. There are tribal things, for example. Gary Smith, a writer for Sports Illustrated, once went to Bolivia and found two tribes that every year had a ritual in which all the men in the tribes came down from the hills, met each other, paired themselves off, and tested each other in a battle. We regard these people for their talent, for their strength, for their will, for their courage, for their style, for their personalities, and at its best, it's pure drama and great theater.
And of course, HBO's expert commentator for boxing matches is a man who has contributed to the drama and the theater, both as a commentator and as a participant on HBO. Sugar Ray Leonard, what are the characteristics, the human characteristics, which boxers most need to succeed?
Well, Jim, they require so many, but what comes to mind are two very important qualities. I would say resilience, because being knocked down, very few fighters are able to get up from being knocked down and compose themselves. And most importantly, determination, because to reach down for that last and final round, to bring it out, that magical resource, very few fighters have those things.
All right, and with an eye toward those qualities and the long history of boxing, we turn our attention now to 1973, HBO's first year of involvement in the sport, a year in which the spotlight in boxing fell squarely on the heavyweight division.
From Louisville, Kentucky, USA, the heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali.
Three glorious champions sowed the seeds of boxing on HBO.
The heavyweight champion of the world, Joe Frazier.
In January 1973, George Foreman delivered the most brutally destructive performance in recent heavyweight history. Simply the Thrilla in Manila, the final act of a long drama spotlighting Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
Ali lost the mouthpiece. A big rally by Ali. Ali flipped. Frazier's hurt. Frazier's badly hurt. The doctor comes up and looks at Frazier. I think it's going to be over. It's all over.
As time passed, there was a progression of great champions, each with a unique and storied past, each striving to make his mark on the rich tradition of the sweet science. And for every achievement, there was a beginning. Each recorded a memorable prologue on HBO. There was, for instance, a young welterweight with 12 pro fights who premiered in July 1978.
From Palmer Park, Maryland, Sugar Ray Leonard.
Over his right eye now, Eckler.
Hey,
Hurt with the right hand.
Eckler down again.
All I can say is that, hey, I'm dedicated to be a world champion. I'm working my way up the top.
Meanwhile, a heavyweight named Larry Holmes had already achieved championship status.
It will be a knockout. Come on, man. I am the champ.
There's nobody in the world could whoop me. Nobody. I knock them all out.
Yet that almost was not the case in June 1979. Mike Weaver nearly pulled off a monumental upset.
Weaver is at him. Oh, we have a fight. Oh, what a left hook. A 1-2 by Mike Weaver. Took the starch out of Holmes. He's backing towards the rope. Holmes is in trouble now. But he's fighting back gamely. Weaver is down from the uppercut. Weaver is down from the uppercut. He has to get up. Weaver is out. Good. He may not make it. Doesn't. Hey, he got up. Made it. He got up. The ref is out of the low line. Most of those punches are missing. Holmes is still fighting back, however. Early. Weaver's a sitting duck on those ropes. That's all. That's all.
from the ghetto down in Newark, New Jersey. And I guess everything that I had to do, I had to fight for all my life. If you want to be somebody, and I think if you set your goals, I think you can achieve what you want out of life.
The menacing, bald-headed figure first appeared in January 1981. In the first defense of his middleweight title, marvelous Marvin Hagler offered a preview of 6 years of dominance.
Nobel backs away again, her in a left hand, and Nobel is down. Hagler stalks his man once more. Nobel comes back with a combination, misses though. And 3, 4 quick punches and a right hand to the top of the head, staggers Nobel, is into the ropes. Octavio Menard says, that's all, that's enough. Marvin Hagler is still the champion of the world.
Your mind is not on your way. There's something distracting you. And remember, it's always good to throw the punch where you could hit him and he can't hit you. That's what the science of boxing is all about.
Mike Tyson was a 19-year-old man-child. His fists summoned fire and fury from the opening bell.
But you notice the way that it comes back. It comes back slow and it drops. So counter right hand by Mike Tyson is invited.
And there was an uppercut. What a shot. The crowd, again, showing its both appreciation and support for Jose Revolta. Shot, and Revolta's down.
Do you want to continue? He said, yeah, hell yeah. That's a fighter.
And that's it.
I'll never forget the first time I sat ringside doing commentary for one of Mike Tyson's fights. Now, his power, without question, is unbelievable. But what really fascinates me is that his defensive skills and incredible hand speed is taken for granted by so many people. Now, these same qualities make Mike Tyson the dominant heavyweight champion that he is. It reminds me of another fighter who I have the privilege of working with, analyzing, and eventually fight. His name was Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And what better way to begin this segment we are calling Knockouts.
It's on my mind. Stuck to that store.
A steady succession of would-be challenges. One by one, they fell.
Simpson right on Marvin Hagler once again. Still plenty of time left in this round. Hagler trying to finish it off right here. A jolting right hand, a looping right hand by Hagler. And another. Simpson stands toe-to-toe. He's down. This should be it. Davis sends it to the neutral corner. Simpson is on his feet. And that's all. That is all. Marvin Hagler has gotten himself in trouble before with butts. Tito Antifermo fight, of course. He suffered a cut from a butt. Again, Scipio now managing to get on top of Hagler a little bit more than he was. And there he took a right hand. That buckled his knees. Scipio back in his own corner. Takes a combination, goes down. And may not make it up. This man has never been knocked out. And it's over. It is all over.
10 successful title defenses over a 5-year period on HBO, each a fistic masterpiece.
There was a right hand, and Juan Domingo Rodon goes down.
As time went by, the image grew to mythic proportions. Some challengers would re-emerge as the pool of opponents dissipated into anonymity.
Hampshire right at the moment, fighting on instinct. Crowd on its feet at the Garden. Inside 1 minute remaining.
He's ready to go. He's ready to go.
Hamsho is out on his feet. Hagler should be able to finish him off. Time, no factor. McCarthy says, don't push. There's a right hand. Hamsho is down. He will not get up. This one is all over.
At times, the knockouts were swift. An up-and-coming heavyweight contender, Jerry Cooney, battered an aged Ken Norton in the historic confines of Madison Square Garden.
And another left hand scores it again. The legs of Norton wobble. Norton is hurt in his own corner. Cooney trying to measure him. Misses two uppercuts but scores with combinations of left stands Norton straight up. Norton is about to drop. Norton is on his knees and finally slumps in the corner. He is not going to get up from this. The fight is over in 54 seconds.
Others came with electrifying suddenness. Donald Curry seemed in control of his fight with junior middleweight champion Mike McCallum until this.
There was the right again, right up over the top.
McCullers is standing directly in front of Donald. That's why he's being hit. He needs to give some hand movement, left and right, side to side. He's not giving angles at all. He's directly in front of Donald.
And there is a left hand by Mike McCallum that came out of the blue and put Donald Curry on his back. It's all over, and Mike McCallum is the champion. A classic one-punch knockout.
A shooting star like middleweight champion Michael Nunn was considered legitimate only when he handled another champion, Sumbu Kalambe, in one round and with one punch. It's been a jabbing contest so far with the early edge to Nunn. And down goes Sumbu Kalambe after a major league left inside by Nunn. And Michael Nunn answers a lot of doubters about his punching power. One solid left hand put Kalambe to sleep. And every once in a while, a championship heart can turn the charismatic stylist into a knockout artist.
Finch is holding on, and he is on rubber legs. There is no question about that. But he has not taken a backward step. There's a right hand again to the side of the head, but Finch stays up. And another right hand, and a left hand sends it backwards, and the legs are gone on Bruce Finch. Finch just trying to get some air, get some breath. It's all over. It is all over, and wisely so.
Badly hurt, and Ray will try to finish him off right here.
Lalonde will grab on and hold for dear life.
Big right hand by Leonard. Lalonde staying up only through the force of will.
Will he get up again and stop in the bout?
I don't think he'll get up anymore. And that is it.
That was a right to the body and an uppercut to the head, and Burbick is down.
Thomas trying to hold on. Serious trouble, and down he goes.
And 10 seconds to go in a round. There's a left hand. He's down again. It's over. It's all over.
There's nobody on this planet that can beat me.
There was a passing of the torch in January 1988. A 39-year-old Larry Holmes was forced to give Mike Tyson final certification as this era's dominant heavyweight champion.
15 seconds left.
Tyson still has to be careful because Larry's... Oh, that shot. That's
Huge
it.
right hand.
That should be it.
And down goes Holmes, and that's going to be it. It's over. That's all.
As a tornado of personal difficulty swarmed Mike Tyson's life out of the ring, Frank Bruno was next to feel the frustrations of a bitter heavyweight champion inside the ropes.
Oh, it's just a matter of
This is vicious punishment.
That's not shot. That's not that Bono shot.
And
Beautiful
Richard
shot.
Steele has seen enough.
When you finish, step up. That's it. Let's go.
Knockouts are power and commitment, the well-laid trap sprung shut, the sudden, sometimes shocking climax to a drama. There's also a downside to knockouts, the disappointment of endings so close to beginnings. Thank you, Mike Tyson. But knockouts distinguish boxing from other sports. When the Cincinnati Reds scored 14 runs in the first inning, it was a knockout. But they played on. They should have stopped it. There's something else that distinguishes boxing, its wide range of crazy controversies. You'd think that in a sport that's so elemental, so basic, one man against one man, that there'd be a finite limit to the kinds of controversies it spawns. Not so. As the late, great Gilda Radner would put it, there's always something.
In November 1982, Alexis Arguello was a lightweight champion vying for Aaron Pryor's junior welterweight title. Few fights have equaled the fury of that memorable night in Miami, and few have equaled the controversy which soon surrounded Pryor.
Well, this fight so far is exactly as all the promotional releases have said. That's a rarity. I've seen it a couple of times, once in your fight with Tommy Hearns, but it is rare that a fight lives up to the press clippings. So far, this one has, albeit it is early. Arguello fighting off the ropes and fighting very effectively off the ropes. Arguello got the better of that exchange.
You're the boss, don't you? Give me a drink that I mix. One that I mix, Lucy Cool. Mix it. Cross up. You're the boss now. Roll!
Combination by Arguello again. The uppercut and the overhand right. Back with another overhand right. Pryor smiles at him at the bell. Well, he's ready to take it also. There's a right hand, snaps the head back, and Pryor is hurt.
Give me that ball. The one I mix.
Yeah. Pryor with a jab and a combination again. And Arguello's in trouble. Arguello in big trouble against the ropes. Pryor going for the kill, trying to put him away. Arguello trying to cover up. A smashing right hand. Arguello's helpless against the ropes. Arguello's hands at his side. It's over. Aaron Pryor has retained his junior welterweight championship. Arguello slips to the canvas.
The next day, newspapers around the country documented the ingredients of the bottle that Panama Lewis had mixed for Aaron Pryor. It was the first hint of what came next, Pryor's pathetic downward spiral over the next 5 years. Eight months later, Weightgate rocked Washington, D.C. Eddie Mustafa Muhammad weighed in over the light heavyweight limit in his challenge of Michael Spinks. That touched off a day of chaos.
We've just been officially notified by Mr. Norman Fishbein, who is the manager of record of Mr. Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, that he has not made the weight.
I know the deal. I know how they mess with the scales. You know, I know what the deal is because I've been in boxing too long.
If ever in the history of boxing, there was a scale that was properly calibrated, it had to be this scale.
You think the people coming to see you promote a fight, Trump? You out of your mind. They come to see us fight. Remember that. Let's go for the. I'm tired of listening to for it, rubber. I'll fight you a non-title fight. I signed a contract saying I'll fight Michael Spinks 10 rounds.
I went through all the procedures of preparing myself, mental adjustments, physical adjustments, and I didn't see why Eddie Mustafa couldn't do the same.
The door shut on Eddie Mustafa Muhammad as he never got another shot at a title. This welterweight championship doubleheader was billed as double trouble. For once, a boxing title proved meaningful. WBC welterweight champion Lloyd Hunnigan was having no trouble through 5 rounds with challenger Young Kil Chung. But not even Hunnigan could have forecast this bizarre ending.
Step inside and go back to the body to begin round 5. Low blow.
Chung agonized on the canvas for 5 excruciating minutes. Finally, Hunnigan was awarded the victory. While the visiting Koreans protested the final decision, the eerie night of July 29 had still another surprise in store. The other welterweight champion performing that night was Marlon Starling. He, too, is having it all his way through 6 rounds, until the challenger, Colombia's Tomas Molinares, launched a missile. Oh, that punch was clearly after the bell, and Starling is being counted out. 8, 9, 10. Unbelievable. With one of the lucky punches of all time. And in my view, Larry, clearly after the bell.
Do I look knocked out? Do I look like I'm wobbled?
Well, you only have to be knocked out for 10 seconds.
I wasn't knocked out. I wasn't knocked down.
It was a night only Marlon Starling would soon forget.
Judge Dave Moretti scores 143, 142. Judge Harold Letterman scores 143, 142. And Judge Larry Wallace scores 145, 142. For the winner, by unanimous decision, and new IBF heavyweight champion of the world, Michael Spinks.
The upset of Larry Holmes by light heavyweight champion Michael Spinks forced an immediate rematch.
And he's out of the corner very quickly.
Well, he's doing just that now, Barry. He's going right at Michael.
When he bends down, throw the left hook, come back to the right hand. If there's a left hook, it's going to bring him up. I'm making him work here. Keep good. Keep him working. Okay, so you got to go to work. I know, I'm trying.
And there was a right hand by Holmes, and Spinks is in a world of trouble right now.
Good right hand. Now
Great shot by Holmes.
This one gets this man out of there.
And Spinks is all but out. Holmes looking for the one finisher. Spinks trying to fight off the ropes. 10 seconds, there'll be no knockout in this fight.
Just look at Larry go to work.
It's over. For the winner, by a split decision, and still, the IBF.
And I can say to the judges, the referees, the promoters, to kiss where the sun don't shine. And since we're on HBO, that's my big black behind.
That controversial decision and post-fight interview with Larry Holmes provided us with yet another chapter in boxing's ongoing human drama. Another reminder of how much is at stake for men who have in so many instances climbed up from the worst of social circumstances, toiled for years in sweaty gyms, sacrificing privacy and pleasure, only to see the decisions which most affect them rendered in a purely subjective arena by judges who are all too often all too human. Still, amid all the insecurity and uncertainty, there are moments of transcendent human achievement, and we've witnessed more than our share of those in this decade of the 80s. Again, let's look back.
Sugar Ray Leonard. Thomas, the Motor City Cobra. Hearns, 15 rounds of boxing.
Ray gets inside, left hand, Hearns, backs him up. Hearns with another one with another left hand, and a right hand to the head. And Hearns slams her wobbling. Ray going down.
Good left hook, good uppercut left hook.
Once more, Hearns backs
Hearns
up.
is hurt.
Against the ropes, and he is hurt.
Well, you ain't punching, man. What's that? I'm telling you, I'm going to have to stop it if you don't punch.
And Leonard taking 2 good shots. Comes right back with a left hand of his own.
You got 9 minutes. You're blowing it now, son. You're blowing it. You better be quicker. You got to take it away from him, okay?
Good right hand by Leonard. That hurt Hearns. Hearns has to tie him up or something.
Now is going for the whole boat. Hitting him with combinations. Leonard has given everything he's got. Hearns starts down but grabs and now goes down through the ropes. Trying to go downstairs this way, Leonard. Hearns just trying to hang on here. Left hand sends Hearns back against the ropes again. And that's all. It's over.
Understand that. Shake hands, fellas. Get it on.
Good fight.
And Cooney took a good right hand from Holmes. He staggers and is down. Cooney is down from a right hand by Larry Holmes.
You gotta move in and rough this guy. You gotta move in.
Like 4 years, Chef. You deserve it. Ain't nobody deserving more than you, Chef.
That was quite the respect. And Cooney's legs are really wobbly.
Cooney's really gone now. He's really gone.
Cooney very wobbly in the center of the ring. Takes another right hand. Holmes knows he has his man in trouble. Another right hand. And that eye is really opened up. Combinations of punches thrown by the champion against Jerry Cooney. This one is all but over. Cooney against the rope. Bill's Lane steps in. He did not really go down. Victor Valley. And Victor Valley is saying no more, I believe. Victor Valley is in the ring saying no more. That's it. It is over.
Larry Holmes. Introducing Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Introducing a man with the hands of stone, Roberto Duran.
Underneath, bleeding from above.
Don't worry about nothing. Don't worry about the cut of nothing. Understand?
The bell can save a fighter in the 15th round. If you want an editorial on this fight, let the crowd give it to you.
And still, the 150 heavyweight champion of the world, Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Jab. He has a very quick jab. There's no denying it. And he caught Hagler with 2 good jabs and a right hand that might have hurt Hagler. Tremendous pace in the first round.
I expected this, Barry. Both guys are going at it.
Hearns getting the better of it right now.
There has been no boxing at all, just fighting here.
Just slugging. Blood on the face of Marvin Hagler. Again, we can't quite tell where it's coming from while Hagler continues to dish out punishment. Right back. This may be the most brutal, even round you've ever seen in boxing.
Let him go.
A lot of blood on the face of Marvin Hagler, and let's see if he just doesn't try to do some serious business or just get through. That jab of Hearns is effective, even though he's throwing it off the back foot. A good right hand by Hagler drives Hearns into the ropes once more.
Tommy can't take too much of this. And again, it's a matter of accumulation of punches thrown by Hagler, which is probably wearing Tommy down.
I'm sure Marvin feels that he has got to hurry things up here because that cut is not going to get any better. There's no question about it. Right hand sends Hearns. He doesn't know where he is. Hagler goes in for the kill now.
He's gone. He's gone.
Down, and he may be out. I'm not sure he can make it. 9. And he's up at 9. He doesn't know where he is. It's over. This one is history. Marvin Hagler, a tremendous victory. And he wound up and hit him to the stomach. And that more than got Leonard's attention. Ray Leonard is hurt in the corner. Leonard's left hand down at his side. Hagler peppering him. Leonard now tries to fight off the ropes. Combinations of punches. And now it's Hagler who backs off.
We got 3 minutes. Yeah. Come on, baby. We got 3 One more round of fights over. You better. New champion. New champion.
The crowd
both given your instructions in the dressing room. Are there any questions by either of you?
You see the tactics used by Michael Spinks now. He's throwing his jab, but he has to keep those hands extremely high. Watch for the uppercuts, too.
Tyson landed a left hand in close quarters, and now Cappuccino goes to work again. Tyson not afraid, as we expected, and Spinks ready to mix it up with him. Tyson along the ropes doing damage.
Michael Spinks has to keep moving because every shot...
Uppercut landed inside, and Spinks went down. It was the left uppercut.
I was surprised there was a body shot that put him to the canvas.
And that is the first time Michael Spinks has ever been down in a professional fight.
And he's down again and in serious trouble. A right hand right on the chin.
6, 7, 8. He's not going to make it. It's all over.
Such a way as to do damage to Tommy. Right hand by Hearns, and Leonard is stopped in his tracks. Hearns gains confidence and knocks Leonard down. Right left, and now it is Hearns who wobbles against the rope. A tremendous left hook following the right hand by Ray Leonard.
And now Hearns is holding on for dear life, which is something he didn't do in the first fight.
A right on the left. Leonard just missing with and a right lands. Hearns in a lot of trouble with a long way to go in this round.
Listen to me, very tough. You got to come out and let your shots go. Try to get this man out of here this round, okay?
Right now, he is a Ray Leonard, in all likelihood, trailing on points in the closing minutes against Tommy Hearns. He's been in that position once before. Oh, a solid right hand by Hearns. Spectacular right cross, and Leonard is in trouble again.
And Ray Leonard had a look on his face there that I had never seen before. There is no quit in either of these great warriors. And Ray Leonard do it.
So the decade began for HBO with Leonard Hearns 1 and ends with Leonard Hearns 2. And Ray, I guess it would be pointless to ask about which of the two fights you would have the fondest memories.
Jim, that's a tough question. But if I had to choose one, I would honestly say the first fight.
I'm startled. I'm absolutely shocked. If you were looking back 20 years from now with a grandson or a granddaughter on your lap, which of your fights up to this point would most stand out as a proud memory for you?
That's an easy one, Jim. The fight with Marvelous Marvin Hagler, because that was a fight that proved so many people wrong, and it felt great.
Well, it proved a lot of people wrong, and it proved a lot of people right, too, who believed that you could do exactly what you said you would do. A lot of thrills for everybody in boxing. Larry Merchant, what about your final reflections after 12 years of covering fights for HBO? Which moments stand out most for you?
Well, aside from some of Ray's fights and watching Marvin Hagler grow up on HBO and Larry Holmes' many fights, I would say that two fights stick out for me. One was Holmes when he defeated Cooney. There were a lot of doubters about Larry Holmes. I thought he was an outstanding fighter, and he fought such a beautifully controlled, furious fight then. And the other fight would be one of uncontrolled fury, and that would be Hagler and Hearns.
Unforgettable.
For 8 minutes they went at each other, and I don't think anybody who saw it took a breath the entire time.
Not an easy choice, incidentally, because there have been so many great moments. We at HBO have been privileged to cover some of the greatest warriors and some of the greatest figures in the sport over the years. And on your behalf, as well as ours, we salute them all and thank them for the moments they've given us. We'll see you at ringside.